Today, I want to tell you how Stoicism has been, and still is, of great help to me in my everyday life. Facing anxiety and overcoming challenges has always been a constant struggle in my life. I used to magnify my problems, getting trapped in thoughts about things I couldn't control. One day, a friend introduced me to Stoicism and lent me a book. I began to develop a passion for this philosophy, exploring it and committing to practicing it. Stoic fundamentals and habits for a week to see if changing my mindset could impact my life, bringing me more happiness and strength. What happened during the week completely transformed my mind. It broadened my limited vision, gradually replacing heavy emotions like insecurity and anxiety with feelings of tranquility and clear thoughts. This happened because I started incorporating small daily exercises focused on objectivity, logic, and self-development. By adopting a Stoic outlook every day, I began directing my focus on developing my character, seeking more wisdom and knowledge. Instead of being stuck in a whirlwind of problems and situations swirling in my head all day, I built a solid foundation for my character. In this video, I'll explain what Stoicism is, habits to adopt, as well as exercises to do. But I invite you not only to watch it until the end, but also to comment on which city you are watching from. Being Stoic is a statement of great courage to overcome any anxiety, addiction, or difficulty that may affect your life. Truly commit to this transformation as I did. Also, take the opportunity to like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and turn on notifications. It's something simple but makes a big difference for us. But what is Stoicism and why follow its principles? Stoicism originated in Greece centuries before Christ with Zeno, a wealthy merchant who lost his fortune in a shipwreck. In response, he began studying great philosophers and later created his school. Stoicism was practiced by both the rich and the poor, the powerful, and those striving for a better life. The goal of Stoicism was to promote virtue and happiness through stability in the face of adversity. Stoics saw philosophy as a journey in search of wisdom, defined as knowledge of divine and human things. This knowledge was divided into three parts: logic, physics, and ethics. For Stoics, logic served as a guide to understanding the world, involving a simple process starting from the senses that captured information. Then, the mind evaluated whether this information was true, and reason confirmed the truth, resulting in solid and reliable knowledge of reality. They used logic as a special tool for deep understanding of the world. Physics was seen by Stoics as the explanation of the universe's beginning, maintaining that all forms of existence derived from a ubiquitous presence, asserting that God was present throughout creation. As for ethics, it was centered on the pursuit of happiness as the supreme goal. Stoics taught that achieving happiness meant living in harmony with nature, following its principles, living by adopting behavior aligned with the natural order of things, and acting virtuously. I was completely vulnerable to anxiety. Even the slightest thing not going as expected, or a small setback would make me despair, and everything would come to mind at once. I hoped that adopting Stoic practices could help me abandon this habit of panicking, improving my ability to face challenges with calmness and objectivity. The main attitudes to adopt require determination and willpower from the start. Firstly, I focused on obtaining an objective view of everything that happened to me, based on facts and logic, rather than being guided by fleeting emotions like anger, insecurity, and fear. In daily situations like at work, A Stoic logically analyzes real risks before reacting, thus avoiding exaggerated anxiety and panic. Secondly, I adopted the Stoic perspective, which sees struggles as opportunities for virtues like perseverance, creativity, and balance. Every challenge is an opportunity to demonstrate integrity, evaluating options calmly instead of giving in to anger, complaints, and frustrations. What really made a difference and was more important was that I built a resilient mental fortress. Stoics prepare for disturbances and discomfort instead of imagining that life will always be easy, like in Alice's Wonderland. Whether facing illness, chaotic traffic, or disagreements with loved ones, having peace of mind helps me endure and face life's challenges with serenity and good humor. Paying attention to your impressions is crucial. First impressions are the thoughts or automatic reactions that arise when we encounter people, events, or situations. It's like our instinctive response to everything happening around us. For Stoics, it's essential to carefully examine these impressions by postponing judgment, to evaluate if they are accurate or exaggerated. This brief pause helps separate emotions from facts, providing clarity to respond calmly instead of impulsively reacting only with negative and destructive emotions. Failures do not determine my worth, as Marcus Aurelius reminds us. A stone thrown into the air loses nothing when it falls, gains nothing when it rises. It's still me. Finally, there's the difference between what you can and can't control. Stoics introduce the dichotomy of control, explaining that certain aspects of life can be directly controlled, while others are beyond our domain. For example, health is under my control. I can decide whether to take good or poor care of my health. However, I have no control over getting sick or catching the flu. Similarly, money is under my control. How I spend my money, if I have financial organization or spend it impulsively, are choices I have total control over. Still, I have no control over inflation, the price of gas, or if products become more expensive in the market every month. The same goes for myself. It's under my control to act with integrity, to be honest, to maintain my character in a situation where I felt undervalued by friends I trusted. Instead of venting, I directed my energy towards establishing myself and acted based on Stoic principles, realizing empowering that I have much more control than I imagined. I can manage my time better, reflect before speaking, and find solutions rather than just experiencing anxiety and complaining about everything. Instead of continually ruminating on the situation in my mind, repeating the cycle of suffering, thinking like a Stoic not only brought tangible progress, but most importantly, a transformation in my mental perspective, overcoming the negative outlook. Considering the worst-case scenario helps put things into perspective and can make a difficult situation more manageable. Stoics called this exercise negative visualization. The idea is to anticipate difficulties by imagining scenarios and preparing for what might go wrong and knowing how to handle it. However, anxious people like me often tend to do this exercise catastrophically, desperately, and thinking for hours that everything will go wrong, completely dominated by anxiety. For Stoics, negative visualization was not a constant exercise, but rather a practice dedicated to a specific moment. By visualizing possible adversities, we gain clarity on 2 points. First, we see that in most situations, our initial problems were exaggerated by our emotions. Second, we gain awareness of realities and prepare to face them. Imagining some kind of illness in old age motivates me to seek health now and to start taking better care of my body while I have the power of choice. Periodically facing negative scenarios in my mind generates preparation to act wisely. We often deny some truths in our lives, easily falling into superficial optimism. But denying our truths doesn't make them disappear. It makes us vulnerable to adversities. Practicing voluntary discomfort, like developing muscles in the gym by going every day and following our training routine, is what Stoics do. In this week of Stoic habits, I learned the practice of voluntary discomfort. These are Stoic exercises of self-imposed suffering to increase our tolerance with the goal of strengthening the ability to face difficulties and, above all, to develop a more genuine sense of appreciation and gratitude for our current situation in life. The idea was never to punish ourselves, but to strengthen ourselves. The goal is not to make life harder, but to raise our level of resilience so that we can endure with calmness what we face. Voluntarily subjecting ourselves to discomfort not only makes us face physical or emotional challenges, but also helps us develop a resilient mindset and genuine gratitude for what we have. Why should you start applying this exercise in your life to gain mental resilience? Just as muscles need training to develop resistance, your mind also needs training to develop resilience. An evident example we see today is when people collapse in front of any adversity. Facing voluntary difficulties mentally prepares you, and then remaining unscathed when others easily collapse. Stoics share the belief in intercession among human beings, seeing everyone as members of a larger community. From this perspective, each of us plays an essential role in the world, and one person's actions not only influence but also affect everyone around them. Stoics emphasize the importance of acting ethically and responsibly, considering the collective well-being. Remembering that my actions affect others' lives makes defending virtue meaningful and not weak. Another point is that Stoics also see an interconnectedness between mind and body. They believed that mind and body were inseparable parts of a person, and that one's well-being influenced the other's well-being. In this sense, I understood that taking care of the mind is just as important as taking care of my body. Just as I learned to exercise mental control, I began to change my eating habits and exercise. Interconnection is a fundamental concept in Stoicism that reminds us of our interdependence with the world around us. This means recognizing that our actions have consequences and that we are connected to everything around us. We must learn from the past, live fully in the present, and prepare for the future. Interconnection in Stoicism is a powerful tool to promote peace and serenity, ensuring that every act of kindness is not wasted, but sows seeds of peace and moderation in the lives of those we touch. Focused on virtue and character, Stoics measure wisdom not by talent or prestige one can achieve, but by the consistency of character. The exclusive pursuit of fame or success often generates short-term thoughts and life. I stopped constantly criticizing myself for having fewer followers or views in stories than some colleagues, none of which ensures acting with kindness and courage when life gets complicated. Instead, I focused on self-improvement goals based on practicing patience, honesty, and generosity. When we become better people, people of great character, we naturally find more satisfaction in our lives and automatically contribute to the environments we share. We all have an ideal version of ourselves in our minds. This version eats better, is more financially organized, exercises, is a bit more patient, can be more dedicated, and doesn't procrastinate. Certainly, it is more present in life. To start acting this way, just ask yourself, what would your better self do or decide? Choosing to act this way, even if initially it may seem difficult, is extremely rewarding. The reward for constant effort is a real accomplishment. Just 7 days of serious commitment to absorbing Stoic teachings transformed myself unrecognizably in the best possible sense. I encourage you to give it an honest try, starting just as I did. There's nothing to lose but much to gain. And if you've made it this far, remember to comment on which city you're watching from and what you think of these daily Stoic exercises. Thank you for watching and for always being here to support the channel.